Welcome everyone. Welcome to our first Vision and Values evening, or welcome evening, as we might call it. It's great for you all to come. It's great to see so many here tonight. So we're going to go through a few different things. I'm going to talk about values. Chris is going to talk a little bit about vision. Danielle's going to talk about our youth work, and then Rick's going to round it up at the end and talk about how you get connected. So first, values. When we moved back to the Wirral about 17 years ago to plant the church, we came from a part of a church family called New Frontiers. We'd been with them for about 10 years. We loved the vision, but actually we also loved the values that they had. It's not just what you do, it's how you do it that makes such a difference. So that was the sort of church we wanted to lead, or the sort of church we wanted to be part of. So that's when we came here. So we looked and we started looking at our values last year again. What do we value as a church? Now, we've come up with a list of 10, maybe 12. But it keeps changing because it's a developing work, because actually it's really hard to put your finger on what we really value. But we're going to look at 5 quick tonight. 5 that we think are most important, and then we'll go through those, and then I'll talk about a few of the others just in title. Anyway, so first value that we feel is really important for us as a church is family, a loving community. We think this is a key part of how we want to present ourselves as a church. The church is a family. It's not a business. It's not even an organisation. We really see it as a family. It's a body. Jesus tells us to call God Father. He calls us sons. He calls us children. And the disciples call one another brother and sisters. So actually there's a very family focus in the way they communicate. And I think that gives it away for us generally. But there's some other things. In Ephesians 2:19, it says, so then you are no longer aliens and strangers, but you are fellow citizens with the saints and members of the household of God. We're fellow citizens. We're members of the household of God. So we value that as a church. We want to make sure we continue to enhance that as church members, because the relationships matter. Jesus commands us first. Our first command is to love God with all our heart, and secondly, to love others as ourselves. So actually, it's really important. Jesus' command is to love one another. So love is that key part of family life, that we accept people for who they are. I was talking to Chris the other day. Everyone's got, a bit of a mad uncle, or the cousin that you don't see very often. But they're all still part of the family. And actually, we need to embrace that as church. Actually, we're not looking for clones. Actually, family life is very broad. We're looking for people from all ages. We want to value people in the very young, and we value the very old. We really want to build with young people. We think that's really important. But we don't want to build with young people that means that we sort of relegate or neglect older people. So we want to really honour the older folk, like Andy. So for family life, and I'm sort of going a bit more on this one than I am the other 4, because actually this is a really big part of us. Actually, family life is more than just meeting once a week on a Sunday. It's about having regular contact with one another. It's those interactions, whether it's online, but also in home groups or small groups. All those sort of things are really important to us as church. Okay, second, generosity. So our second value that we really think, I talked about this on Sunday. Generosity is being full of kindness. As a church, we want to be full of kindness. We want to be generous in giving both to God, our money and our time. We also want to be generous in our spirit to other people. Actually, as a church, we want to be generous. We want to give away what we have. It starts with the family of God, but I think it's being generous to people outside, being generous in your opinion, being generous with what your possess, not only your possessions, but also your attitudes towards other people. I think it's really important. We want to support other churches, so we want to be generous in our heart towards other churches and other ministries. I think over Christmas we gave a gift to CAP in the Wirral of £500, just to say, actually, we want to honour and we want to be generous towards your ministry because we really value it. So 2 Corinthians, and the value of generosity comes through in this passage. Said the point is this: whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. Each one must give as he has decided in his heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. Actually, we want to give cheerfully, we want to give generously. It's a big part of who we are, and it comes from the leaders, but also we want to see it right through the church. Okay, thirdly, excellence. We want to be the best that we can.
Amen.
Amen. Some churches and some people, some families muddle through doing the minimum. Just what's required. But actually, we serve a God who, when he made the world, stood back and said, this is very good. And he says he made us in his image. So actually, we're made very good. And we want to be creative like God and be very good in what we do. We want to excel. It says in all areas. Paul talks to the church, he says, excel in all areas. Excel in all areas. That's in, I think it's in 2 Corinthians 8. But actually, the key verse for me on this is in 1 Corinthians 10, it says, whatever you do, do it to the glory of God. So actually, we're trying to do the best we can wherever we are as a church. That's as individuals and also as a people. But it means in our relationships, it means in our communication, it means in just everything. We want to excel. We're not looking for perfection. But if we can improve, we want to improve. If we can do something better, we can do something better. Now, resources contain sometimes what we maybe want to do. But actually, if we've got the resource and we think we can do something better, we'll want to do it better. We do it with coffee. We do the best we can with coffee. We could give you the cheapest coffee that we could find, and instant coffee, the hot water, but actually we just don't feel that values people, so we do the best coffee we can. Within a budget, within a time. We could give you cappuccinos every morning, but I'd say we wouldn't get through it in the morning. But it also says about excellence, it says even Christians, when you're in the workplace, you work as if you're working for God. So actually, it's excellence that we want in all those things. So that's what I think it's about. It's about excellence. Okay, fourthly, nearly there. Oh, I've missed the slides, haven't I? Sorry. I'm used to people serving me in this way. Where's me finger man? Okay, honour. So our fourth one is honour. That actually we want to value everyone. We want to value everyone's input. The only part of the Bible that allows us to be competitive is in this area. It says in Romans 12:10, it says, outdo one another in showing honour. So this is an area we can be competitive in. We want to bless and say how good other people are. So having a high respect for people, having great esteem. Paul says, think of others more significant than you. Actually, because if we all think that way, everyone gets built up. Because we're looking to build people up. We're not looking to pick everyone's weaknesses out. We're looking to pick on strengths and say, you're doing really well, keep going. We want to honour you. We want to honour what you've done. We're encouraged in the Bible to honour God first, but also encouraged to honour our parents. So this is all part of our honour culture. We're called even to show greater honour, he says, to parts that maybe we think shouldn't have honour. We talk about the body. It says, the less presentable parts, the less honourable parts, we don't show honour. Actually, it says, we've got to show them more honour. So actually, honour is really important. 1 Peter 2, it says, honour everyone, love the brotherhood, fear God. And then it says, honour the emperor. Now, we haven't got an emperor, but it means actually we want to honour those in government over us. Actually, we honour them. Actually, it's really important. It's really important. Okay.
Just for Romans 12.
There you go, Romans 12:10 and 1 Peter 2:17. Finally, and this part, courageous faith. The final we look at is actually, look in detail really, is this. Because we want to encourage complete trust and faith in God. We want to encourage courageous faith. We want a confidence to do the things that God has put on our hearts or put on your hearts. We want to give people confidence to go for it. We want to be willing for people to step out and take a risk. Risks are very difficult. We don't take risks in certain areas of church life. We want to have courageous faith. I love the story of Peter when he steps out of the boat in Matthew 14 and he walks on water. Christ calls him to him. Now, what Jesus encouraged him to come to him, and he didn't create a culture of water walkers, but he encouraged a culture for people to step out and to do things that perhaps they've never done. And actually, to do things that maybe you haven't seen anyone else do. Now, it doesn't mean the wackier the thing you do, the better. But it does mean we don't dismiss things. That actually we're courageous when we step out and people say, I've got this idea. You think, wow, that's a bit nuts. But actually we want to try and help people pursue their gifts and their vision for church life. Okay. So faith comes from hearing, which comes through the word of Christ. We're saved by faith, we're justified by faith, we walk by faith. So we continue to, really seek God for our values as a church, and it's all encompassing these things. The last slide shows just the other things that we value as a church that actually we might hear us talking about. So being devoted to God and to one another, being filled with grace, we want to be a grace-filled church, having integrity, doing the things we say we're going to do, encouraging one another and being true worshippers. So these are things, and the list goes on. But the 5 things you need to remember is family, is generosity, excellence, honour, and courageous faith. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Chris, who's going to talk about vision.